Hello, my name is Jacqueline Michelle Noris, and my Module 12 for tort liability is as follows. The standards for International Society for Technology and Education is 4E, and the 2018 Program Standards for Building Leadership Ethics and Integrity is 2A. The verbatim definition of tort liability is the obligation, legally, of one party to the victim resulting from a civil wrong or injury. I paraphrase this into my understanding as to, after violating someone's rights, injuring them, or an intentional or negligent breach of duty, you are then legally responsible for your actions. The analysis of Scenario 1 from Tort Liability 101 is as follows. There's an aide in a classroom, and they are attempting to calm an agitated student. The student then turns over the desk, throws a book, and strikes the aide. The teacher picks a book up above the head, slams it down on a desk in front of the child. The teacher then grabs the student by the arm and puts them in the timeout area. The student struggles, curses, and screams. Later that evening at the PTO meeting, the teacher describes the incident to another. The teacher also shares how unprofessional and inept the aide resolved the situation. The next day, the principal tells the teacher that the police are present and are going to take a statement regarding possible child abuse. My evaluation is as follows. The reactive measures of this case were heinous. The proactive measures I would like to see include maintaining self-control. A book should never be slammed anywhere near a student. Also, avoid sharing information. It is unprofessional, and if it's about students, may violate FERPA laws as well. If it's about peers, you may be placing yourself in legal territory for slander or defamation. Set of professional ethics that would benefit the school site include creating a rapport with paraprofessionals. Use the golden rule. Ensure that classroom procedures for non-compliant students, 504 IEPs, and out of the blue acting out. There should be a policy in place for anger management. Let your teachers explore what pushes their button and how to deal with those physical signs that can mean danger. Tort case number 2 begins with Susan, who has been teaching for 10 years. She is watching her third graders play during recess and knows that they are playing in the custodial closet with a broken lock. She then leaves her duty to investigate a car crash commotion she heard in the parking lot. It turns out that this is her car, and now her windshield is smashed, and she calmly talks to the person who accidentally caused the damage. Meanwhile, her children have now been playing in the custodial closet and spilled professional strength floor cleaner, and it splashes and burns the child's eyes. My evaluation is as follows. The reactive measures to this case is 4 words: careless, bad judgment, and neglect. Susan, a veteran teacher of 10 years, should not have been so negligent as to walk away from third graders, let alone unattended with professional grade anything accessible. Proactive measures include using sound judgment. Custodial closets are never a responsible choice to allow children to play in. Always have coverage, even if just for a small amount of time. And my set of professional ethics would include yearly and needs-based inspections of all custodial closets to make sure the locks are maintained. Teachers should have yearly review of procedures to follow for duty coverage while away. Analysis of teacher tort liability number 4. Mrs. Smith is a 5th grade teacher that hears a commotion outside her classroom. Turns out that it's 2 boys arguing, and they then proceed to throw punches. She grabs each child by the arm to separate one, and one of the boys tells her she doesn't have a right to touch him, and stop. Smith takes the boys to the principal and reports. The next day, the principal calls Mrs. Smith into the office to say they are being sued by the parents for battery. My evaluation of case number 3 is this. Reactive measures by Mrs. Smith is that the situation was poorly handled. Proactive measures include 0 tolerance for fighting, never leaving classes unattended, and Ms. Smith calling for backup. Also, most importantly, keep hands off students at all times. Set of professional ethics should include 0 tolerance for physical altercations. The teachers, students, and staff must all understand the consequences of physical altercations and how to avoid and intervene correctly. Additionally, there should be video monitoring when hallways, and teachers and staff should review and understand neglect of duty liabilities. Analysis of teacher tort liability number 4 is for Flanagan versus Canton. Flanagan is a 5th grade teacher at Canton Middle School. One day during gym class, the teacher noticed students becoming rowdy. Naturally, the teacher lectures class about listening for directions and safety. The last 5 minutes of class, the students left to the locker room to change, and the teacher stayed behind to talk to a student. In the locker room, Flanagan was pushed, and he was gravely injured and required emergency splenectomy. Oh, the spleen is a solid organ. It's filled with blood, and it helps the immune system. I'm sorry, I teach sports med, and we just finished studying the spleen. Flanagan's mother sued the school district because of negligence. The evaluation of this case is as follows. Reactive measures in this case included good and bad. Calming students down is a good thing. Leaving rather rowdy students unattended was probably not the best choice. Proactive measures of this scenario include a zero-tolerance policy for physical violence, unintentional or intentional. Safety during dress-out should have been addressed, especially knowing the class was already wound up. Set of professional ethics would include policy during PE dress-out and having supervision present. There must be education about harmful touching guidelines and training sessions. Analysis of teacher tort liability number 5. Frame was an 8th grade student and Dr. Barry Comeau was a substitute. One day, Comeau gave a spelling test to the students and many students became disruptive. Comeau asked them to leave and the offending students complied. Frame, the student, spoke aloud during the test next, clearly violating the speaking policy during a test, and Comeau asked him to leave the classroom twice before approaching Frame's desk. Frame responded by slowly standing up to face Comeau. At that same time, Comeau grabbed Frame by the arm, and because of these two actions occurring at the same time, Frame became off balance, stumbled, and fell. My evaluation of the sad and last case includes reactive measures where the intentions of a strict and objective following of rules was great, but the actions were not great. Again, hands off. Proactive measures for the case are to definitely maintain order, objective rules, and request compliance. A set of professional ethics to benefit this case and a school site may include maintaining order and rules to facilitate learning, educate stakeholders regarding harmful touching, practice scenarios of what to do when students are defiant, and role play for teachers to handle tough situations appropriately. My reflection is this. This module caused me to evaluate my own demonstrative behavior towards students. I frequently touch students' shoulders or hands. Also, when I was a kindergarten teacher, I side-hugged many times per day. I am not willing to jeopardize my career and everything I've worked hard in my life for. Do I need to have a hands-off approach? Should I stick to knuckles or high fives? It's my nature to be nurturing. I say good morning to students and everyone I see in the hall before school. I'm a friendly person. I like people. However, I would never want anyone to accuse me of any tortuous acts. This is a huge deal for me, and I'm not sure what I'll commit to doing. I know what is safe. I also know that human beings like human contact. What a horrible position to be in, this sue-happy state. I'm befuddled. I don't like it. I know from my own experiences as a student and as a teacher that from struggle comes learning and understanding. I'll work through this. On a happy note, I loved looking through the PNGs and including them in my presentation. They were very easy to work with. My references. Thank you kindly for watching and listening.